Mango Bay, Mango Bay.
Mango Bay.
Mango Bay, Mango Bay, Mango Bay, Mango Bay, your Mango Bay.
Aditi, why don't you repeat what you said to Usama? You hope you
vomit blood on him.
Welcome to Mango Bay, guys.
Welcome to Mango Bay.
Welcome to Mango Bay. It's hot as fucking here.
It's very hot.
Hot as balls. Hot as Indian balls.
Hot as some Dhaka balls.
Some Dhaka ass urban ball, like rickshaw.
Yeah,
balls.
exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. Yeah, you're not out in the countryside.
Not even
You're in
lungi
the
ball. Like, you know the lungi, the area.
Lungi is
pants.
totally the most sensible way to dress.
If you're gonna have balls in India or Bangladesh, wear lungi.
Yeah, I don't understand kilts though.
What do you mean? Like
what is the excuse? Why are Scottish people wearing
kilts? Are like the fabric of kilts is like hard, thick.
Yeah.
It's made of sheepskin.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
I think it's a Scottish thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have nice legs.
That could be.
They
it.
don't. Dude, they're all pasty.
Have you seen a Scottish
and gross.
leg?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen a Scottish leg before?
No, of course not. That sounds like a racial slur. He's whiter than a Scottish leg.
My freshman year at NYU, I was trying to do really like American things, so I went to a Scottish dance. It was
Scottish
So
dance.
you
An
do an American
oxymoron.
thing to Scottish dance.
Yeah, the biggest oxymoron ever. First
yeah,
of
they
all.
have the haggis, right?
They have haggis, yeah.
Yeah, so they had a procession for the haggis.
If you want to do an American thing, you should have burned down a park.
Yeah,
How
by
about
the way,
that?
Scottish leg
Huh?
sounds like a disease.
Scottish leg.
He's got a case of Scottish leg.
Look.
We're gonna have to amputate.
You know why? Because the screams you make sound like Scottish.
Yeah.
When they amputate the
Yeah,
leg.
but why do they wear kilts? It's cold there.
I think it's just a dietary choice. I think it's like it's a dietary choice. The sheepskin. They eat the sheepskin. I don't know. You know what? Let's look this up right now.
No. Let's not go that deep. Why do we need to get a Scottish history? There's no.
Have you seen Outlander?
No.
No.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's like soft porn but historical.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm done.
There's a lot of there's
I'm
a lot.
in.
Yeah, there's a lot
I'm
of
down.
yeah. You should watch it. There's a lot
Is
of.
that a Pornhub tab?
Type Outlander porn.
Kitchen wench porn.
It's on it's on Netflix, and my friend and I looked up all the actors, and they look worse outside of the show. Like something about being in the the historical where
Right.
made them so much
They're
more
like
attractive.
in context.
Right.
Yeah, but like they're people
Well,
born
it's like,
now.
oh wow, they're really attractive for a fucking heathen barbarian. But when you put them in modern clothes, you're like, ugh.
Oh, this is before shaving, but
Who
they're
invited
all
these fours
perfectly coiffed
to the Vanity Fair party?
You know,
Yeah.
I have a theory that Hollywood makes all these period pieces just an excuse to cast more white people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
Well, in the
course, yeah.
1700s,
Yeah.
what are you
Well,
going to do?
didn't have any,
No Indians.
Ah.
What are you going to do?
Ah.
It's a total racket. It's a total fucking racket.
Yeah.
Everything's in the 1920s. Everything's in the 80s. Before black people.
And like, what
were-
are they trying to relive?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were just uglier and more boring back then.
They were poor because that's when they were trying to colonize to make money.
Because the white people have like a sort of a
was their
romance.
heyday.
It's a romance of back when they had problems.
Right,
know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Which
We
is,
had-
God, how do we subdue all these savages? Ugh.
Righteousness.
They're being all savagey
Yeah.
and shit, you know?
Oh my gosh, what a struggle.
I'll tell you.
My journey, my
struggle.
truth, my journey, my
Yeah,
truth.
problem with the help. Oh my God, can't find good help these days.
I was so colonized. I did my undergrad term essay or my thesis essay on models of virtue in 19th century women characters
God,
in
okay.
Victorian literature. Yes.
Okay.
I think we just
And-
lost 2 followers from that one sentence.
And that followers
In one
were-
sentence,
followers
we lost
were-
2 followers.
Or me and you.
Yeah.
We don't-
I should check my Instagram. Hold on. Nobody touch their
Just hammer
phone.
it in. The minute the word thesis comes in, it's just like that's wonderful.
Then
What's
Victorian women.
undergrad?
Yeah. So we're here. We're Mango Bay. You know what it is. At Pranahaha.
At Usama bin Laden, and we're here with our beautiful, hilarious,
Very
smart as
special
fuck
guest.
guest.
Aditi Natasha Kini. Follow her on Instagram at Fluffy Nan Fancy Boy.
Fancy
If you can find it.
Fancy
Yeah.
boy non. 125.
Yeah.
Fancy, not fancy.
Wingdings,
Fancy,
backslash.
99 Tiger Babe.
Yeah.
Or Twitter at non sequiturs. Yeah.
We know her as Nanu. She's our
Nanu.
little Nanu.
She's my grandma.
Our little small, as she likes to refer to herself. We would
Yeah.
never diminish her.
Because that will
There's feminists,
receive
you know?
dire
Yeah.
consequences.
And we're here with her. She's a very hyper intelligent,
Whip smart.
whip smart writer and
Did undergrad.
artist. Yeah, she did undergrad in 4 years. Can you
4
fucking believe
years and got a
that?
diploma
Oh my
afterwards.
god, yeah.
All right.
I was gonna be like, I also have a master's, but I thought
Whoa,
that'd be like,
Ain't no masters in here, Nanu.
You get
Ain't no
out then.
slaves neither,
Only
all right?
students.
Yeah.
Hey, no, put chains on me, Pranav. She got a master's.
Masters here,
Put the
everybody.
chains on me now.
All right. She got a master's.
well, you do too. So
She got a slave owners in business accounting.
In sports marketing.
She got a slave owners in sports medicine.
We're here with Nanu. Very special guest. I'm excited, wanting to have you on for a while. But specifically, should we get into it?
Before we jump in, I just want to talk about her a little bit, real quick.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh, gosh, I'm getting roasted.
You've known Nan for a long time.
I have.
I've met her through you.
Yep.
And immediately I was like struck by her intelligence, struck by kind of like how real she was, always
Struck.
kind of.
Meaning
oh,
she actually struck
she
him.
beat
Yeah,
me
probably
with her
did.
Yeah.
brain and then a sandal. That's what happened.
Exactly.
But as through the beatings, I was like, these are very smart beatings, very hyper.
She lives by the chapo.
Very
died by the chapo.
unique as person. I don't know anybody who is like Prince Nanu, and I like that. Every time I see you, I learn new things, and I'm afraid of new things. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, wow.
I really appreciate just you coming by because you're fucking very interesting and you're gonna do great things.
well, thank you. Thank you
That's
for
true.
having me.
Of
One
course,
to watch.
that was her first nice comment. Literally, I had to give her 19 compliments for her to say thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
I'm so privileged to
What's
be part
the
of
catch? What is this Trojan horse
I'm
of
like, I think
words?
you're just one of the smartest people I know, and you're gay, Usam. I was like, whoa.
Hey, I wouldn't use that as an insult.
Please don't.
But
That was testing you.
Yeah, he was testing
yeah,
you.
yeah.
The student has
I
become the
passed.
teacher, Nanu. The student has become the teacher.
The pupil is the pupilee. The pupilee is the
And you
pupil.
passed. Okay, you've passed.
thank you. Thank you. Do I get a PhD now?
PhD
Yeah.
in mango.
Player haters degree. Yeah, boom. What?
Word up. Word up.
She doesn't suffer fools at all, not even lightly.
As you'll see in the playback, we'll probably have like moments where we're just
Yeah, I
laughing.
highly recommend you
We're
watch the
laughing,
YouTube.
and then we'll start Nan just looking at us like.
To look at all the
what
curses she's leveling us with her eyes. She's got Daisy cursing eyes.
Why do
you
I feel
know?
so hexed right now? Oh my god.
Yeah, she will wither you with one glance if you fuck with her. And even if you don't, right now, it's in their face right now. It's in
Dude,
her face.
I got the side splash glance.
Yeah.
Like she was giving you the glance I got in
Yeah,
the,
you
in
got
the stream
collateral-
of it.
You got collateral
Dude, my
curse.
eyebrow's gone. My left
Yeah,
eyebrow's
yeah.
gone,
All
dude.
around.
Show the crowd your happy eyes. Terrifying. Terrifying. Back to you, Pranav.
If you get to see down below, you'd see she's wringing the neck of a rabbit in her hands and just plucking it off.
And she's eating it currently raw.
This is why she's just happy right now.
Yes. Without dead animals around her, you can't see a smile from Nani.
I've gotten into so many arguments with people's boyfriends at bars or restaurants.
What's
Like
up?
people will bring their boyfriends and then they'll try to explain stuff to me. They don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do people do that? Why do they
Wha-
meet a stranger and be like, let me tell you about India?
Oh,
Wait,
is that,
so
it's always okay.
This happened last
So this
week.
isn't just guys. This is just, but specifically boyfriends of your friends.
Yeah, so like people I have to like endure. Like if it's some rando, I just like turn.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So it's somebody you're forced to hang out with.
Yeah, there was this like white girl. So my friends' roommates are blonde women who only
so hard. Got her.
You got
Wait, just wait. There's more.
you got Usama's Pornhub search terms right
Yeah,
there. By
white
the way.
women who
India.
use their Hinge settings. At least one of them does to filter out all races
Really?
except South Asian.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they love. Yeah, I'll give you their Instagrams. You can DM them.
I don't like being fetishized actually, so I would not want them. No.
Oh, interesting.
Unless the fetish is feet.
Her woke dick is now rock hard.
But anyway, one of them had this like boyfriend who's Sri Lankan, and I was like, at New Year's Eve, I was like sitting with these people. I didn't know any of them that well, and he was just like explaining to me how I should read Nausgard. And do you know Nausgard, My Struggle?
No.
Oh, Carl. Oh,
Carl,
Moscard,
yeah,
right,
he
yeah.
wrote.
Oh,
he wrote,
I know
He
that.
wrote
Yes, okay, yeah.
many thick books
yeah.
about his kind of boring life.
Right,
Thick
yeah.
with 2 C's, by the way. Thick ass
And-
books.
It almost makes you nostalgic for the other My Struggle book. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, Carl. Let's spice
That-
things up here, man.
There was some
I'm
significance
struggling
to that
to read
one.
this book. How about that?
I think if a Nazi accidentally bought that book, they would then want to just start gassing other white people. You know what I mean? They're like, what? We are not the master race
Did
after
you hear
all.
how Nan laughed at the idea of white people
Yeah,
dying
she was
en
like,
masse?
"Gassing whites."
How many white people died in that joke?
Okay, Okay, anyway, he explained to me why I should read this book, and I said I wouldn't. And this was before Trump was elected. I was still opinionated, but other people didn't support me.
We call those the dark ages.
Yeah, people didn't support me. I was just like the weirdo who would fight with people. So I was like,
don't act like you're not still that weirdo now.
No, but now everyone's like, yeah, do it.
That's true.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like,
The culture has caught up to you.
I'm getting printed elsewhere instead of in, I don't know, Facebook statuses.
We do need someone like Aditi to be militant in the
She's
face.
tip of the spear right
Man,
here.
she is also the handle.
Tip of the spear.
Also the handle.
She is the whole spear.
She's actually a
much.
halberd, actually.
Yeah.
She's the halberd of India. And without her kind of always calling people out, in the same way that during Me Too, when it first started, people were like, is it right to just throw away everyone's like in the beginning, you got to go harder a little bit just to go against
You need
the flow.
vanguard, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
The
So she's the
vanguard.
phalanx of fucking wokeness that I think I really am behind.
I know.
Oh,
You know?
thank you.
And then the moment they
And then
attack you,
that that clears the pathway for us to be non-woke browns.
oh, dude, hell yeah, dude, come.
You can be benign woke, you don't have to
Benign
be
woke.
militant woke.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're-
Can I
I'd
can
say
I
we're
come on
benign
things?
Hmm?
Can I come on
You can
stuff?
still come on stuff, bro.
Okay,
Don't worry.
thanks.
As long
He
as
doesn't
you've
wanna be
gotten
a-
their
He
consent
does not want
first.
to be. If there's a revolution where you can't be coming on shit, he's not part of it. Okay.
I don't ask trees for consent. I'll ask anyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, he tried to get me to read Nausgard, and I said I've read enough white men in my life. This year, I'm trying to do less of that. He was like, "You're really limiting your horizons," and he was getting so mad. Like he was sputtering. He's Sri Lankan, He's like a dark-skinned Sri Lankan man who told me that in San Francisco, all the books, like he worked at a bookstore, and everybody was reading Nausgard, so I was missing out. And I was like, I read Nausgard. I read a whole book, and I suffered.
He's got a guy.
It became your struggle.
Yeah, it definitely
you
did.
scratched out mine. You put Aditi struggle in the title.
He's
It got better.
he's the kind of guy whose
made it
name
better.
is Venkat, but he's like, call me Vinny.
Oh,
Call me Vin.
I have to
He's
tell
like,
you later that's almost exactly.
Legit,
Yeah,
I knew.
that was that. He's
Little
one of those.
bitch.
Call me Vinny.
And
Call,
you know,
me,
and-
call me Vinny.
And the name's really like very. It's
Venkateswaran
it's basically the
Jankanandana.
same thing. You just knew you know this person.
I know this guy.
But
I
he got-
met this guy.
he-
This is my
He
guy.
was so mad. He was sputtering about how he too has been forced to read white men his whole life.
Also,
I was like, okay, so like you're with me on this or not?
a lot of brown guys too. They have that other thing where they're like intersectional with their own patriarchy a little bit. Like they'll listen to a white girl talk because they think they're woke, but the moment they'll put a brown girl in a different place because their mom raised them in a way where like they can't look at brown girls
They
as,
got the
as
home
women.
field advantage.
Home field advantage. Like
Right.
Yes.
I got this,
Yeah,
brown lady.
yeah.
I'm the brown man.
That's right, yeah,
So
exactly.
they'll be like woke to white girls and then very regressive and medieval towards brown ones.
That's
because-
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You call it home field advantage? Can I rip that off?
Yes.
I'll credit you.
Woo!
It happened
Well,
here.
it's happened here. Home field
Yeah.
advantage. That's what we're calling it when brown guys be oppressing brown women while still under the pretense of being involved with woke white culture.
Home field
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah. What we're about.
Aditi, we want to talk to you also about this.
Aditi's, yeah. First of all, congratulations. Aditi just had an amazing article. Let me touch it.
Okay,
Let me touch it.
How is there oil?
Well, now you ruined it.
There's
my God.
oil all over it.
Well,
What?
listen,
What?
you
Is-
get-
who's
Ruined.
oil?
Oil or spit?
Oh
Did you
wait,
just
this is
lick
legit wet right now.
Well, that's how good the piece is.
I
okay?
was actually
That's how good the piece
not
is.
to mention
Screw-worthy.
not to
Yeah.
mention come again, but there's a little bit of Patrick. I'm just turned on by complete
It's on
sentences,
this side.
like
Yeah.
subjects
No,
and
no,
predicates.
Read the Brett Stevens article if you want.
Okay, it's on the same page as shitty Brett Stevens.
I'm
Oh,
just,
Brett,
I've
who's-
made it.
It's actually Brett Stevens is an article. Is a guy
He's
It's a guy.
talking about like what a wretched start for Democrats.
Um,
Fuck this guy, huh?
This is the
They
article where he
speak
gets-
Spanish. We don't. They are not U.S. citizens or legal residents. We are. They broke the rules to get into this country. We didn't. They pay few or no taxes. We already pay most
please,
of those
we don't
taxes.
have time for your poetry right now, okay?
I wanted to read the entire article, please.
No,
We're
no,
just gonna sit here.
no, I-
read the entire-
Guys, that
It's
was,
okay.
you guys can read that and other poems of Aditi's in her forthcoming collection. They are not us.
It is a 1,000-page tome.
No, that was
It
an
is-
article she was quoting from Brett Stevens. Let me give the background here. We're holding up for the listeners a New York Times hard copy. The top is a Brett Stevens article, and underneath that we have an op-ed from our very own Aditi Natasha Kini called "Stolen Artifacts Should Not Be for Sale." Nanu, why don't you give us the background on this article? Tell us about it a little bit. It's a great piece.
And keep it
New
under
York
90
Times
minutes
op-ed.
if you could.
No
so-
thesis. No theses.
No theses. The
Always
first,
theses.
the
But
first,
first,
the
a thesis.
first
Chapter
draft,
1. Chapter 1.
The beginning. I was born in 1990.
the first draft was 3,000 plus words.
Holy shit.
So this is, I think this is 1,200.
Okay.
And it was originally called The Exquisite Orientalism of a New York Auction because I went to see all these Mughal and other Indian royal artifacts be sold at Christie's 2 weeks ago. And
And what is Christie's?
Christie's is an auction house like
Right.
Sotheby's, or it's I think it's historic. I don't really know much about it. It's my first time inside, even though I worked next to it for a year. I didn't know that the public was allowed inside.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
But we are apparently. So if you want to
Really?
pick up rich people,
Okay,
Oh
wow.
shit. Okay.
you should just go to the auctions, especially Indian artifacts auctions.
What would be your pickup line for a rich person?
For a rich person?
Yeah. I hate minorities. Hi.
It was weird. At least 1/3 of the audience was brown in this. Like they were trying to buy it
Are
back.
they Uncle Dodge Brown?
Yes.
Ah.
I saw
Oh,
them.
shit. Okay.
Some of them.
Dodges.
There was this like father-son duo next to me, and I was like paying a lot of attention to them because they had a strategic like list of how they were bidding on stuff. And I should have been paying attention to this other guy sitting on the other side who his first bid for something was $800,000.
Holy
His
guacamole.
entry bid. He just kind of like shot past. He didn't have to go that high, but he did.
Did he look both ways? Like, check that shit out. Like,
Yeah, he smiled. He did that. And like everybody in the road in front of him knew who he was, and they all like
So
turned and
was
like
this an
smiled.
auction specifically for all Indian and Mughal artifacts?
Yes.
Really?
So it was from the Al Thani collection, which was collected by Sheikh Al Thani
from Qatar,
the
right?
Qatar. He was the ruler. I think he stepped down a few years ago.
Okay.
Now he's having a garage sale.
Yes.
Fucking
Shit's going down.
Christie's.
Yeah, the oil's not
Yeah.
as good money.
No, it
anymore.
isn't.
Yeah.
The oil isn't.
So these guys are
Yeah,
losing.
so there's
Gonna
Dude.
sell off some plunder.
Yeah.
So he had made like he.
Did he sell any slaves at the auction too? Did he let go of any of his
And
slaves?
now my daughter, some
Yeah.
guy's like $5 sold.
Is Qatar where the FIFA?
Yeah, they're having FIFA
where
there.
all those South Asians died making the.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that same place.
Bad South Asians be dying on the Arab Peninsula.
They be dying. Also, Bengali indentured servants in Dubai. So all of Dubai is made from Bengali servants,
Yeah.
basically. What they'll do is they'll like be like, hey, you want a cool job
Yeah.
with benefits and money?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And they'll go over there and they'll rip up the contract.
and their passports.
And their passport.
Yeah.
And the pictures of their kids. And they're like, you work for us
And they're
now.
like, bend over.
And then they fuck them.
These are, I said benefits
Yeah.
for me.
And
I
they're
didn't
like,
say for
that was
you.
your first paycheck. You're
Yeah.
like, oh shit. It's
They
crazy.
they say that they're going to pay them $150 per month, but you're not allowed to buy. But as like a non-resident, you're not allowed to buy anything of your own. So you have to buy from the commissary. So bills tend to run to $80 a month.
Yeah.
So then they only have like whatever
It's
70.
basically indentured slavery.
It
So it
is.
is.
Yeah, sir.
So
Yeah.
South Asians going to the Arab Peninsula. We need to stop that.
That's what we're doing this, actually.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Slowly.
100 views at a time.
Yeah, like
Get ready, Dubai. We're coming for ya. Yeah.
so in Sukhet,
They're like,
yeah.
hey, Osama, Pranav, you want to come over and do your podcast over in Dubai? we made it big,
What
baby.
a great
We're doing
opportunity.
it.
We hate Bengali servants.
They set up the cameras and it's just a snuff film.
Yeah, we just interview fucking dying slaves. So, when did you realize that you were an idiot?
Yeah.
When I went to India last, I took Kuwait Airways, which was like one of the worst decisions I've made in my life.
Why? Sorry, you don't like the airway or the people or?
So they kept canceling the
Oh, yeah?
flights and not telling anybody. So we just like wait at the airport. There were people in the airport. There were
Sorry,
people
that was
in
a
the.
Kuwaiti. He was
Yeah,
like,
it
"Yo,
was
fuck
a-
this!"
That was a guy celebrating his small penis just now.
there
His
were
small
people-
Kuwaiti
It's small penis parade.
Small as Kuwait. Huh?
There
How
were
about
people
that?
who had been waiting in the airport for 3 to 5 days when I got there, and I bullied my way onto the next flight by using an accent, like a
Nice.
more
Love that.
and then prominent. Like I just like went up to the front and I was like, I have a seat on this plane, and I did, but they put me on like two planes after, saying there are people who've been waiting
Yeah.
longer. I'm like, you need to fix this. But I went out. There were people sleeping in circles like a refugee camp in the airport because
Which airport is this?
Kuwait, like whatever the
Right.
Kuwait City airport
Really?
is.
I had to
Really?
spend
And-
24 hours in the Jeddah airport. Saudi
Okay,
Arabia.
okay.
Also
And
not
they give water like twice a day and like food once a day, and people were there were people crying. This woman who only spoke Kutchi and a little bit of Gujarati, like probably like, this was her first time flying, her first time like out of the country. She was sobbing. They took her passport and then pretended that she had lost it.
What?
Yeah.
You saw it happen?
Wow.
I fought with them until they got it back.
Arre!
But like,
Oh,
Nanu, bro.
Holy shit.
Nanu. That's
Holy
badass.
No,
a
but-
hero. That's a hero right
that's
there.
a
but
hero
I speak
right there.
Gujarati, and I was like trying to soothe her, but she had a real concern. She had been at the airport for 5 days. She's like an old woman.
Yeah.
Like she had like clutching a little like shitty bag, you know, like
I just said baby.
no.
Shitty baby, like a shitty,
That's some
disgusting
raggedy-ass
ass
little
baby. Ew. So I took the baby, I threw it away.
Can you?
Trust me.
And everybody there was saying that they'd been treated like shit because
Yeah.
they were brown.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like very much like such a like. Anyway, I don't want to get sued by
brown
Kuwait.
people abroad, there's a lot of just like, you know, a lot of the women grew up in a patriarchal society, and so there's like a very deferring quality to a lot of these women.
Right.
So in an unknown area, just defer to the man. Hey, sure, okay. And these men will take advantage of that mindset.
Right.
Of like that deferring mindset and just sort of twist them dry. And so that's why you see sometimes in New York, bro, you'll be at like a fucking subway station, like a auntie is coming at me timidly. Like, hey, can you help me? Like, because like the world is kind of like so like unfeeling towards these people who aren't bilingual that all they see a brown person is like, please help me because I don't know what the fuck is going on.
That happens to me like once a week in New
Yeah,
York.
bro, legit. Like a hijabi Bengali.
Yeah.
Hey, and I have to like, you know, I'll tell them in Bengali and then they say something I don't know and I'm like, fuck, now I'm like the shitty Bengali kid who doesn't know enough Bengali for this.
Right.
Because they're Silati, so they're from a dialect that's like does not exactly Shuddha Bengali. So I don't really understand all the dialect shit.
Okay.
But I'm trying out here, auntie.
What do you see as the big problem with something like this? Let's talk
So
about that.
when we look historically at a lot of these things that people say were got through conquest, basically the idea of conquest as being an acceptable thing before World War II.
Yeah.
So that you could take land, you can plunder it, and that's yours because you had more, military strength. So a lot of the things that the British took.
And the desire to just go and conquer something.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's like commendable versus something abhorrent. But that's what the problem is with these. Is many people argue that they were taken rightfully from India, and at the time, India. I was careful to say Indian history,
Yeah.
the historical context in South Asia and present day, because a lot of these objects we don't know where they're going to be repatriated to. If in a perfect world, in an ideal world, they do get sent back.
Right.
Like what happens? Like who
Why
gets
can't
it?
they be sent back? Let's talk about that.
Because a lot of them have been sold or are owned privately. So individual people are less likely to give up their right to property because that would create an entire like legal sort of international legal matter. I read like this entire document like about international legal repatriation issues.
Right. Because, I remember going to like, when I was a kid, we would go visit family in England. And so we're going on tours. We're going to like Windsor Castle, and everything in there is fucking Indian.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in there is Indian. It's and I was just like, why doesn't the government of India just take the shit back now?
Well, so the Indian government has made some requests for restitution, not consistently and not with like a threat behind it. They've been very like nice requests. They've been somewhat dictated by whoever the political force in power is.
Right.
Tipu Sultan's items were not officially requested back by the Archaeological Survey of India for, I think, some of his items because he's a Muslim ruler. And there's an entire faction in India not wanting to rewrite his rule as being very violent towards Hindus. In Karnataka, they wanted to have, they've been having Tipu Jayanti, which is like the celebration of his birth in November, I think. And every time they have it, they started in 2017, the BJP, the more right-leaning party, they'll say that it's an insult to Hindus and they'll like refuse to go and like call him a mass rapist and stuff like this, which isn't necessarily backed by history because history was written by the British who wanted to vilify this guy.
I don't want to like de-implicate all Indians from all bad things, but the problem, a lot of the crux of what gets my grinds.
Your average Indian in India is a mass rapist.
Is absolutely.
That's a
and
problem,
that's by facts. That's just facts. Quote us. Quote us.
Like per capita.
Per capita?
Like per
Per
capita.
rapita.
Per rapita. It's not good. It's not good.
Thoughts? Just kidding.
No.
Please don't speak any.
I put my mic down.
What really gets me about all this, regardless of all the legal elements and the absolute like perfect points you're making, is just the lack of respect that a lot of white people have towards brown people, just like the average brown.
Right.
Like the Churchillian idea of fakirs be dying in the streets and laughing. He probably toasted during the fucking Great Bengal Famine. You know?
Oh no, he did. He
course.
said that
Yeah,
Indians were rabbits.
Hitler.
He was our Hitler.
He was our Hitler.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Church
all
Hitler.
British were.
It fits
People,
perfectly.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, people shit on. People are like, "Why is Mein Kampf selling in
And
India?"
I'll die
They
on
don't
this
have-
Churchill.
No, you're not going to die on that hill. We're going to kill on that hill.
King of the hill?
King of the hill. The thing is, like, people are like, "Why is Mein Kampf selling so much in India?" It's like, dude, we didn't have any relationship to Hitler. There was nothing about Hitler in India, really.
Right.
You know, our Hitler was Churchill. He's the guy who let and killed millions and millions of people. The British were our Hitler.
Yeah.
They I mean, they were totally brutal. So it's like, for us, it's just two different Nazis fighting against each other.
Yeah.
That's what World War II was.
And it's the idea of like, when a brown person is like, "Hey, do this," and they're like, "But you're brown,
Right.
Why would I do that?"
Yeah.
That energy, that sort of is still present in some interactions today in New York.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
And
Oh,
just
yeah.
the idea like, oh, it's just like a little brown guy,
Right.
It's a little brown girl. What can they do? You know, and I don't know if that's like just in-depth colonization mindset, or the media has not given us that respect of like humanity sometimes. Like
That's a tricky.
I don't know.
And we also wield less political power globally. We
Right.
have South Asians dying in the Middle East every day, working
is
at these
true.
terrible conditions. It's not a humanitarian crisis because we matter less.
Right.
And like, I can only speak right now because I have all these other economic privileges that have settled me into a system where I can just like sound off. But people in India don't have the energy to like, not all, like, obviously we have like people who write about this, but most people in India don't have the energy, but they do feel anger.
Right.
So many of my friends, I went to high school in India, so many of them wrote to me saying they got so mad reading the article. Like they avoid news like this because
Right.
it makes them so angry.
One thing that stuck out to me in the article was there was a law in Britain in 1963 basically saying that they would not be able to give back any of the things that they stole from the museums. Basically, because like, well, if we give all that stuff back, there won't be anything in our museums.
Good.
I'm like, dude, what
Good.
an indictment of your shitty ass culture. What a shit culture. If like you have literally
It's like,
nothing of
if
your
we
own
didn't-
to show.
If we didn't rape those natives, there
Yeah.
wouldn't be some fun babies out
Yeah.
there. It's like, what are
I
you
mean,
talking
it's
about?
just like-
What are you saying? David Cameron, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right, when I read that.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, listen, if there's no rape, there's no sex.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hey,
You're not
hey,
getting it.
Like, are you saying that jizzing isn't fun?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
What?
And a lot of the rules about repatriating art start with World War II because of Nazi looting. But that's because the British and all the other, like, whatever,
Yeah.
these
Listen,
allied
hey,
forces think Nazis are bad.
If I stabbed you, sure. But this knife company has workers, employees that need to feed their kids. So I'm not going to use this knife and employ these families?
Yeah.
You tell me.
You also have to figure out how knifing me was somehow good for me. That's like the British thing too. Of like, this is really good for them.
When I knifed you, you went home. Your mom helped you survive.
Look, man, you got 2 weeks off of work for
Yeah.
me knifing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you took the railroad to the hospital. The railroads we made.
We made to transport all the stuff we stole from you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Look, if we hadn't
Oh,
raped
yeah.
you not would have found out about lube. Okay.
You think rapists use lube?
Yeah.
That's a nice rapist.
You
What are
know,
you talking
that's the British way. Yeah.
There's so many good books though coming out, like about this, about railroads, about like Suketu Mehta's "This Land Is Our Land," about immigration as reparations. I think there's more people talking about this than before, which is nice.
That was such a main idea for the British people. Like, oh, without us, there's no railroads. That was like,
That's the
I've
only thing.
heard that so many times.
I've heard it, and it wasn't until recently that I hear pushback.
The idea is, and this is a lot of Shashi, a lot of just things I've watched. It was like for privatized British people, a lot of incentives.
Right.
Were so it's like it cost twice as much to make that railroad than it did in Canada. And what they would do is like they'd incentivize it for British investors. So it's a privately owned British venture at the risk of the Indian public.
Of course.
So like literally, it's like the perfect deal if you're a colonizer.
Oh yeah, I mean
Unreal.
they would take cotton from India, bring it back to England, make it into clothes, make it illegal in India to make clothes,
course.
and then bring it back and sell it at a huge markup.
And
So like
it wasn't like
yeah.
also like a big stations weren't for big highly populated places. It was like what places have the most raw materials. Those are the most kind of like
course.
developed areas.
Oh, yeah.
And the people, what the actual people had no stations.
Yeah.
It's like this insane kind of like not intuitive railroad
Listen,
system.
the point is this: is that if you're British and you're listening to this, kill yourself.
With a musket, with a British weapon.
Just kill bayonet yourself.
You know what? Actually,
I
use
can
an
tell
Indian
you-
weapon that you stole and kill yourself.
Yeah.
I have two things to say
Use
to
a
this.
spelling bee list. Just fucking.
Yeah. Feed yourself to Tipu's tiger. Okay.
Tipu's tigers. Like a
my
Daniel Boyle
the
film.
people who lived in my
Tipu's tiger.
apartment before me were these colonizers. It's a British couple.
Is that what you call all white people? Colonizers?
Well, not all. A lot of people deserve it. They tried to nickel and dime me and my also Pakistani Indian roommate. I'm not Pakistani. Pakistani Indian
Wow,
roommate.
you real quick, you were like, I ain't Pakistani though.
I don't
all
know.
right?
I don't want to
Okay.
claim cred. You know, like I'm South Indian. We didn't go through partition.
Right.
But they charged us, and they were like classmates. They charged her for charged me and her for the shelves in the wall, for a metallic a magnetic strip in the kitchen that they had installed years ago that we were saving them the trouble from removing. And she was so mad that I haggled her down.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you can't do this. This isn't the Commonwealth. Like you can't just like.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
That is the sickest burn.
That is a good burn.
This is not the Commonwealth, bitch. Wow. What is this, 1947? What? What are you, Robert Clive? What are you, Robert Clive, bro?
Did you study all your history today, or did you just
Yeah,
you just
he's
like
dropping some names.
Yeah, yeah. Look
I-
at you
you
go.
Lord
Look at you
Mountbatten.
go.
I only use names to be an idiot.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I didn't use Robert Klein to sound cool. I made it to seem stupid.
That's true.
I'm an idiot, 100%. But comedy is
What are
reductive.
you, Benny Hill? What are you, Mr. Bean? Huh? Here's an interesting thing. I don't know if you read about this article. I read about it maybe last year or something. It was about all of these art heists that were going on in Europe, and it was all of Chinese artifacts.
Right.
And people they think the Chinese government was sponsoring these people to go in, pull off these amazing heists, and steal back. Because I don't know if you knew this, but like the
funny.
French and maybe the British too. There was this thing. It was called the sacking of the Summer Palace in
That's a fun-
China
that's- I
in
watched that movie.
1860. Yeah,
I'd watch that summer blockbuster.
you'd watch that
This
porn.
summer, Palace is sacked.
Yeah. And basically there was some insanely just rare, beautiful things that just these slavering, fucking slobbering, fucking European idiots were just "Raw!" and just ripping them off and then bringing them back, not knowing what the fuck they were.
Didn't the British go into the Chinese lands to steal their tea? Basically,
and sell them opium.
Yeah,
Right.
And
Sell
sell them
them
opium.
that was
Yeah.
grown in India.
right. So the tea was being just amazing tea that was just all being imported.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, fuck this. And so they just went and then just stole the tea and came
Yeah.
back and oh my god.
Well, you know,
the
that's
worst.
why
They're
it's
the
funny
worst.
when we talk about chai as being appropriation. It's one of the most recent things.
Right.
At least modern chai is
Right.
one of the most recent things.
Right.
That's why if a white guy is cool, usually one of his parents died. Some hardship had to have happened that was so deep and so life altering that they
like, I
became
get it now.
a white person. Losing a parent is the same amount of problems he has as a brown person on Monday.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying? A white person has to lose a parent to endure the same pain as a black person on a Monday.
Look, if you want to even the score, don't kill yourself.
Kill your
Kill
mom.
one of your parents. Okay? Just do that.
Woo! That's a New York Times op-ed.
Yeah.
Kill your mom.
Yeah.
From Aditi Natasha Kini.
Oh my
By
God.
Osho Rajneesh.
Rajni.
They really wanted me to be more assertive with this piece, and
Oh,
I
that's
wasn't.
good.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was
So you listen to
happy.
the white man? telling you to
White woman.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I was a white woman.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But what the funny thing about Tipu Sultan? There's many funny things.
The name for
He's
one.
great. He's great.
Tipu.
One thing is Vijay Mallya made a big show of buying back one of Tipu Sultan's many swords for a lot of money. He brought it back to India. He was gonna take pictures with it when he won some political race, but then he lost.
Oh shit! Wasn't there some
And
MP?
then he called it bad luck.
Yeah.
And then the bad luck was that all these banks were suing him because he had stolen their money and wasn't paying it back.
That's a classic.
And then
That is classic.
That's classic.
and then the sword disappeared.
Wow.
And then he was he gave it away and it was lost and it was bad luck. But that's the problem with private ownership. Who does that serve? Him owning that sword.
It was only for him, obviously. It was
Yeah.
not for any
Yeah.
other.
They're what the fuck is he doing with the sword?
And
what's the joy you can have from having a fucking artifact in your house? It's
Dinner
not even
parties.
look, hey, check out all this IKEA shit, and then I got Tipu's magical box.
But what's funny is like so like
Wait, how funny is that? You put people on a Schlangenhagen, like the most beautiful thing in the world, resting on a Schlangenflagen. That's disgusting, bro. That's disgusting.
It is.
That's also interesting too. Like the Indian election, so crazy. I saw one thing. It was about like some guy ran for office, and it said he lost office. He only got 5 votes. And he said he had 6 members in his family. You ever read that? It's the funniest headline. Like 6 members in his family got 5 votes. It's like, that's an awkward fucking ride home.
are you making this up?
Legit, I saw this in some fucking...
That was a headline?
Some headline on India Times or something.
That writer
gets
was
5
roasting
votes.
him.
Yeah, straight up.
exactly.
Straight up. Family had 6.
The headline is the article.
Yeah.
There's really no need for anything else.
It was on
says it all.
it was on the Piaj, I think.
Oh,
Piaj is
man.
onion in Bengali.
The British. You know what fucks me up about the British is, they go there, they steal all the shit, and they're still just have the worst, most disgusting food.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I
It's
had
what
like
are you
the
doing
worst
with
Did
all-
you
Indian
put the
food in my
spices
life
on your
there.
plants?
Yeah,
So like you just like
exactly.
water
What are you
plants
doing
with
with all
cumin?
You can fix your taste.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
That's
You sprinkle
true.
it on your
Yeah,
bed
that's true.
frame to make it. I don't know
That's
what
true.
they were doing.
It's like they stole all the shit from India to like, so they could make what? Britain look more like India? I
Yeah.
get it. England's a disgusting place, but,
First of all, yeah, and the Indians came to Britain, and then they raised their food culture. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
they
exactly.
went back. So it's like throwing a ball and going to that ball. So
Exactly.
like we gave the spices, and we went back to
Yeah.
where our spices were.
we had to go teach them how to use the
So
ball.
we were like, hey, here's our spices that you just
Yeah.
stole from us. Here's how you use them.
My favorite thing is when British people are, chicken tikka masala. That was an English invention. I'm like, no, yeah, right, bitch. With all the fucking cumin that you guys are cooking with over there, right? And all
Who's
the-
coming at you with that knowledge?
Dude,
By the way, Pranav.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, I'm a
you
piece
don't
of
know
shit.
how many British people
Yeah.
I've talked to, the British invented chicken tikka masala.
Well, they
like,
can
oh.
keep it because it sucks.
Whoa,
Hey.
whoa.
First of all, it's not true. They didn't invent shit, okay?
They can't.
You don't like chicken tikka masala?
I'll eat it.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll eat it. Hell yeah.
I'm not allowed anymore. I'm not allowed
I can't wait.
cream or tomato.
Okay,
but-
now we're getting into our digestive
I can't wait to
issues.
see Aditi on the altar, and the husband's like, I do. And she's like, I guess.
Yeah.
If you say so.
That's a hard maybe.
What's your favorite Indian food?
Dosa
Dosa.
Dosa.
And you're from what?
from the Mangalore side.
Mangal.
Of,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. South Indian.
Yeah.
South Indian.
Nice. I think South Indians, we talk about this
We
in the
love South
podcast. We love
Indians.
them more than North.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cool.
Yeah. You guys
You
are-
guys sweat more, but in general.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You know,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I don't know. I lived in India. I don't know how I did it. Like, look at me now. It's just New York, and I feel disgusted.
You know, in Mumbai, they don't give a damn. Like because like everyone's kind of Americanized, right? So they'll wear like head to toe, like long sleeve shirts and jeans and like
Yeah.
heavy duty
Because they're
sneakers.
used to it.
Because they're just like we want to look good.
Yeah.
And they don't care. Like it's
They're fine. Their bodies are adjusted to it. you
When
know?
I go back, I have these like really crappy old salwar kameezes I wear, and my family members take it as like some sort of sign I'm so simple and like and humble that I like wear trash clothing.
even the British were like, you guys keep those. We're not
Plain
gonna-
Jane Aditi. Well, she did good in her studies at least.
my mom's
Plain
like you.
Jane.
Yeah.
Get it?
Jane, yeah.
Plain Jane.
Janes are quite plain. That's
They're
their
disgusting.
thing.
They really are.
That's their whole thing.
Their food
No,
is not.
Their food is not the best.
Here,
I
have
went to
this plate.
I went to a Jane
That's
Gujarati
all
wedding
Gujarati
recently,
food.
and I
It's
was
all
like,
Gujar-
oof.
Dude, Jane food?
Not
Legit?
Kutchi food.
Oxymoron.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I mean, Janes are lovely people themselves.
Almost. They're as cool as their food is bad.
But you know when so this has happened twice in the last I've heard of 2 stories in the last year, but like sometimes people will give up the world and then they have a huge like marriage to their religion in Jainism, and someone
yeah.
from my old high school did this, and her marriage to her religion or whatever the ceremony is called was televised across Gujarat because they spent so much money on
Really?
it.
Yeah.
They could have like fed a village for like 10 years
Right,
on
right.
that
Could have
much.
fed a village with some plain ass Jane
Even
food.
a homeless guy's like, I'll starve.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm good.
They're like, we're okay.
Yeah.
Once I gave-
Her ribs are like rattling as she talks. I'll pass.
Once I gave
I'll have
a
that
homeless
dirt over there.
person some chicken nuggets, and she said no thanks.
Wait, what?
I went to McDonald's next to this homeless. This was when I was younger and misguided, and like I got this homeless person some chicken nuggets, and she got really mad at me.
Wow.
Probably
Good for
because she
them.
didn't respect you because you were a kid. And so like that kind of, and like that ego could have been there.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, yeah.
Because who's going to
That bitch
stop?
gonna give me chicken nuggets?
Yeah,
what?
yeah. No
I
sauce,
could eat
bitch?
you right now. Okay?
No.
I could snatch you up from these streets.
Anything that's burning in your soul about white people that you want to address right now? That's not even about artifacts, but just like
Yeah,
some sort
and-
of social thing. Like
and not
stop,
romantic
like
either.
wash your feet or something. You know, like
Well, I was talking about mangoes with this.
here we go. This is good.
Yeah, with this.
It's on brand.
Yeah. So I don't think most white people who haven't had Indian mangoes know what they're talking about when they like come at you with like, I love mangoes.
Preach, sister, preach.
Right? I was just like the taste in one desi mango is like in one bite of a desi mango is like equivalent to like a whole
Ooh.
regular
Mango
whatever
math.
Western mango.
We're doing mango math out here.
Yeah.
But I was talking about Indian mangoes with this Argentinian woman at someone's birthday party, and this like white guy who was wearing like this black button-down silk shirt, like with the buttons open, and long hair, like grizzly beard, and a red bandana around his neck. And do you imagine? Can
Whoa.
you like
You
picture
just
this
painted
guy?
the picture. I wish you hadn't.
I love Aditi stories because they have like the entire world in the story.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with my Bolivian friend in Ecuador on Easter when the winter solstice.
The countries make a difference because then
I love it. I
he
love it.
interjected to be like, Indian mangoes are the best. Like, can you hook me up with your supplier, who's my friend, who
Yeah.
gives me mangoes from his local grocery store? I'm like, he's not a supplier.
Right,
like,
right.
he's like not
Your supplier, yeah. This guy's a fucking capitalist.
Yeah.
What's the supply chain? He's got
He
his
literally
eye on
asked
that.
for his number. I'm like, my friend isn't going to give you mangoes. Like, go to the grocery store. What the fuck?
And here's the thing. I will a little olive branch. All right. I think a lot of white people also they don't know how to talk to people culturally without being insensitive because they've never gotten that training. Because white people kind of grew up in a culture of you're white, there's bounty.
Do you
there's
think that's
abundance.
American white?
American whites
Yeah.
are less versed than even Europeans, I would
Yeah.
say. But the best white people that transgress these ideas, they just don't know how dumb they're being.
Right.
When
That's
they say
true.
supplier, I don't think there was like a hate when it's just like, oh, can I use a supplier? It's a way to relate to
For him,
somebody.
he's like, oh, cool. Here's how much I admire your mangoes.
Right.
And then he was like, I was flustered because I was mad at him for interrupting my conversation with somebody else. He had this really loud voice.
Oh, good.
And he dominated
Like
every
Osama was like,
conversation.
oh god, like you don't have the loudest motherfucking voice on the planet, bitch.
Yeah.
Didn't I said, oh, God, pretty softly there.
You did,
was
you
like,
did. You were like, you don't want to be the
God.
loud person right now. But he was a
How inconsiderate! Any final comments? We kind of talked up a storm here today.
I don't know.
Be smart.
Read
the article.
Read the article. So the New
Uh,
York Times, just Google Aditi Natasha Kini, New York Times. You'll find the piece. Do it now because I'm sure she's gonna have many more to come.
Listen to her, whatever she
See.
says. Don't ever defy her.
Don't
'cause
ever defy her. She will wither you.
She
with
will
her
write an
land.
op-ed about you saying Chad needs to be canceled. And then
I started writing as like a sort of way to get back at people. It's true.
That's good.
I have a lot of essays where I just call out people who I'm mad at.
Final question: how many white guys have you banged? Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Now
I'm not
we're going.
answering that question.
Now we're going. Here we go.
I'm not answering this
Ambush.
question.
So we're gonna assume 35. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
All right.
Closing thoughts, Aditi. Thank you so much for coming on.
You
It was
rock.
great.
Thank you for
It was
having me.
wonderful.
Fucking drop
Thank
some
you
knowledge.
guys. Yeah, dropping knowledge.
Drop some
Thank
knowledge.
you guys for listening, for
Not
watching.
as much as you. I'm sorry.
Robert
This has
Platt.
been Mango Bay. We love you. Thank you.
If you're British, JK,
Yeah.
but also kill yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
For real. Just end it. Just stop. You have nothing to live for. Okay. Time to Brexit off the planet. Plexit. Okay.
And should we
We're done with this.
Plex
We
it.
really have no need for you.
Flex it.
Flex
So
it,
it sounds so
motherfuckers.
cute.
Plex it. How about we say cheerio to sign off? Usama Siddiqui at Usama bin Laughin.
Pranav Bihari at Pranahaha.
I'm Aditi Kini at Non Sequiturs.
Yes. This is Mango Bay. Like, subscribe, share. Give us a review. Give us a
Give
little
us the
review.
reviews. We've been loving them.
Come on.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming. Thank you.
Come again.
Your mango bay.
Mango bang, mango bang, mango blah blah. Mango, 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 mango.
Bay.